Hi, welcome to my kitchen. Today we're gonna make 3 easy lunches that you can take to work. They're actually mason jar salads that we're gonna load up in a strategic order so that they don't get soggy and they'll actually keep in the fridge. So you can just like grab one in the morning, take it to work and have a delicious, healthy lunch. Mason jar salads are not complicated at all. I've got it down to a basic formula. On the bottom, you want 1 to 2 tablespoons of dressing, followed by half a cup of hearty vegetables. On top of that, you want to put half a cup of protein and a few tablespoons of cheese, then a 1/3 cup of grains or carbs, followed by a few tablespoons of what I like to call fun bits. This is all the texture and brightness in your salad. So nuts, fried onions and garlic, herbs, croutons, crispy chickpeas. And finally, at the very top, you're gonna put a 1.5 cups of leafy greens. Today, I'm gonna show you 3 different variations of mason jar salads that you can try on your own. But now that you have the formula, you can just play around with it and use up things in your fridge and see how it goes. Okay, we're gonna start by making our dressings. First of the 3 is our peanut soy situation. And to make that, we need half a cup of peanut butter, another half cup of soy sauce. We also need 2 tablespoons of maple syrup, 1 tablespoon of rice wine vinegar, and the juice of 1 lime. And then a teaspoon of sesame oil, and then give it a shake. That's perfect. Okay, great. So the peanut butter, even though it was cold, it did blend eventually. I had to shake it quite aggressively. Another trick you can do if you have natural peanut butter and it's been in the fridge and it's kind of thick, when you're cooking your grains or like your oven is on for another component of the cooking process, I like to just set my peanut butter jar close to the heat source so that we can take advantage of that residual heat to warm up and soften the peanut butter. That just makes it a little bit easier to spread or mix into sauces. Also, if you had a microwave, which I don't, you could just put a little bit in a jar, pop it in the microwave, let it loosen up. Peanut noodle sauce thing is looking really good, so I think we can move on to the next one. We realized after we ended that last clip that I got the sauce on my shirt. So I think I'm gonna have to change my shirt. I'm a mess. Okay, I'll be back. Another white shirt. Okay, hopefully we're not gonna get anything on this one. Where were we? Oh yeah, okay, second dressing, let's do that. Our lemon garlic number, which of course starts with some lemon juice, 1 garlic clove, 2 tablespoons of apple cider vinegar, and then we're just gonna top it off with some olive oil, little salt to season, and some black pepper, and about 1 tablespoon of honey, can't forget that. Give that a quick shake. So you wanna shake it until it's emulsified. Emulsified is one of those words that's thrown around a lot in recipes. But basically, an emulsification is a process of combining 2 liquids that don't normally mix together, for example, oil and water. You can achieve emulsification by shaking something aggressively or using an emulsifier. For example, in cooking, we like to use mustard, honey, and mayonnaise. Yeah, it's perfect. I've made this dressing a million times. Okay, it's kind of my go-to. Moving on to our 3rd dressing. So last but not least, we're gonna do my tahini maple dressing, which starts with 4 tablespoons of tahini. I'm gonna be completely honest with you, my tahini is not that fresh, but it's still not bad, so I'm gonna try and use it up. To that, we're gonna add some lemon juice, salt and pepper, and some maple syrup, about 2 tablespoons. Then we're gonna whisk this together and it's gonna form a thick paste. If your tahini's a little old like mine, you might get some clumps. Try your best to work the fork through those clumps so it gets as smooth as possible. Once it forms that thick paste, we need it to be a little bit more runny, more of a dressing texture. So to do that, we're gonna add a tablespoon at a time of cold water and just whisk that through the dressing until we get to our desired consistency. This is kind of all to your preference. So add as little or as much cold water as you want until you've got that dressing consistency that's just perfect to you. Give this a quick taste. It's perfect. A little heavy on the maple syrup. So I'm just gonna add a little bit more salt to balance it out. Ooh. That's amazing. Okay, our dressings are done. We can move on to assembling our salads. We're gonna start with our harvest bowl. So this is that tahini maple dressing we made. We're gonna do a couple tablespoons on the bottom. This is totally dependent. That's so good. Sorry. The amount of dressing you put on the bottom is totally dependent on how much dressing you usually like in your salads. I say a couple tablespoons, but it's totally up to you. To that, we're gonna add our squash. So I've already roasted that over here. We're gonna add about half a cup. This is like the hearty vegetables portion. These are things that can sit in the dressing and absorb that flavor without losing their shape. On top of that, we're gonna put our protein, which in this salad happens to be chicken. And again, I've got about a half cup there. And we're gonna top it with some goat cheese. So again, this is a measure with your heart situation or your preference, I guess. I say about 2 tablespoons or so of cheese, but you know yourself best, so you can add as much or as little as you want. I've already prepped the grains. So we're gonna go in with about a 1/3 cup or so. For the grains, I think this is a really good opportunity to like peek into your cupboard and see what things have like half a bag left or a 1/4 of a cup in each little container. I don't know about you, but I feel like I always open a bag of pasta, use a bit of it, and then buy a new pasta shape because it looks cute at the store, and then I've got like a million half-open bags of pasta. So just take a peek in your cupboard, see what you've got going on, and choose the things that are looking like they need to be used up. You don't need to use farro. You can like play around with what you have. To that, we're gonna add some diced apples. These are the fun bits, the textured bits. And you know what? I didn't write this down, but I have some pumpkin seeds, so I think I'm gonna add those too. Okay, I lied, I don't have pepitas, but I have almond slices, and I think that would go nicely in here, so we're gonna add a little bit. And then give that a squish down just so you can fit all of your leafy greens in, because that's what we're adding next. So I've got some washed and cut kale all ready to go. We're just gonna add about 1.5 cups to the top. You can really like jam it in there. And that, my friends, is our mason jar salad. And our third salad is heavily inspired by Italian pasta salad. We start with lemon garlic vinaigrette, diced tomatoes, salami, fresh mozzarella, pasta, olives, and arugula. Okay, it's finally time to try these babies out. We're gonna go with the harvest bowl. This is the one I'm most excited to try. Also, if you're wondering like, how am I gonna eat this at work? My old office used to have, like each employee would have a locker, and I would always keep like a plate, a bowl, some cutlery in there. So I would just recommend bringing a very big bowl, leaving it in your locker. And then every morning you can just grab the salad, dump it, wash it in the work sink or whatever. But anyways, let's try this. You are seriously gonna impress everyone in the office if you bring these salads to work. And you're gonna impress yourself because they taste good. They're gonna make you feel good. And you're just gonna be like happier to be in the office, I think anyway. If you want more recipes just like this one, make sure you're subscribed, and I will see you back here next time. Bye.